Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Um, I got a really important email from a community member and I wanted to read it to you guys, okay? And then we'll get into everything else. So this is what he has to say. He said, I've been thinking about some issues, and we all know that the Democrats and the rhinos like to project their drama onto Trump. Oh, yeah. It's almost like they can't take accountability for anything. You know, they always have to point their fingers and say, well, he did it, he did it, he did it. And he said, and I forgot who it was, but a claim was made that Trump would use military on non supporters. No, he wasn't the one that said it. They said that yeah, that's the thing. They, like I said, accountability, you know. And he said, crazy seeing the use of the military upon Americans was invoked under Biden. Exactly. He said, we are believing something would progress during election day, but that would be hurting and or worse to Antifa. Democrats can't have that. Well, the thing is that they fund those groups. It's like, I'll never forget, it was the summer of 2020, and I'll never forget it because people were literally emailing me that lived in these cities, okay? They were saying, you're not going to believe, but they're, and I wish I still had the pictures, but I don't. Pallets of like bricks and whatnot were being dropped off. And I'm like, what? I'm like, well, is it in a construction zone? You know, like, is there construction going on or whatever the case may be? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'll never forget it for as long as I live. And he said, scenario one, another first month, sixth day. They don't use the electoral votes in and insert her anyway, causing the unrest. Right. FBI and cohorts infiltrate and lead 47 supporters into chaos. Yes. Yeah, you are so right on, 110% right on. Antifa attacking officers from behind with 47 supporters to deal with the lethal force in the middle. Right. And this is what we all like were preparing for. And this is actually, I haven't even read your email. I'm reading it on you know, as I'm filming. I haven't read it yet. And I have this god awful feeling in my gut, okay? Like, okay, we saw some of the protests, you know, in major cities, like on campuses and stuff like that already, like after the election and stuff like that, and how like some students and whatnot, and you know, in some cities, and how they were like, you know, we don't like what the election outcome and blah blah blah. Why do I have this god awful feeling that they're going to wait until either the day of or the day after the inauguration? I'm just saying that's all I can. I don't know why I have this feeling, but maybe it's because I know their dirty little tricks from past experiences of what we have seen before. So he goes on to say, scenario two. Electoral votes get him in, but before swearing in, they use the fake insurrection clause to oust him, causing similar protests and possible issues with police and military. Okay, well, the fake insurrection clause. Well, the thing of it is that he, and this is my opinion and my opinion only, my unprofessional opinion, okay? And I'm not going to use the word uneducated because I am very educated. My unprofessional opinion, because I was not there, okay? I only know by what people have told me who were there, okay, and videos that I have watched. He did not say, go and do this and be idiots and go inside and do this and do that. No. He said peaceful and this, that, and the other. He did not say, go inside that building and cause mayhem and ruckus and blah, 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 blah. He didn't say that. And if you go over to Angry Preppers channel, over to Jason's channel, he was actually there. And he was there as a journalist because that's exactly what he is. And I believe he actually has his certification to be a journalist, I believe, because he wore his identification tag around his neck saying that he was a journalist. And he actually got into some hot water because 3-letter agencies showed up at his home, and they, I believe they either checked his electronic devices or they confiscated and then returned his electronic devices. It's been so long I can't really remember, but I believe they did. So, you know, it was a fake on their side, not on ours. He did not say, go and do this. He didn't say that. I remember that. So he says now, scenario number 3, the assassination on Inauguration Day causing chaos, which would have the same effect. Exactly. Well, they've already tried, what, 3 times now? Okay. All failed. Okay. Now this would be what, the 4th? Yeah. That we know of. Okay. So, but, damn. And he goes on to say that they have tried numerous times. More is not out of the question. No, I know. But see, they are so irrational, demonic. What's another word I could possibly think of to use? Not logical, illogical, okay, on that side, that they actually think that this is a way to, but they don't seem, I don't even have to go through this succession to explain to you, because you already know that if anything were to happen to him, okay, then Vance would go in, and then, you know, then this succession of who would move up and, you know, whatnot. But he is so well protected. You're not going to get to him. So just stop, okay? Use the 2 brain cells that you have left and realize that you're not going to get to him. Then he goes on to say they would just blame any of the BRICS nations anyway. But you know what? We're smart enough to know that it's not them, that it's within this country, that it is the illogical, irrational, and demonic, okay, because that's the only 3 words that I could possibly think of to use to describe the other side, because they're the ones that have tried the last 3 times, okay. And then he goes on to say, after all, these wars are about BRICS, and the once was petrodollar anyway. Note, every bad nation is attached to BRICS. Exactly, but they're not the ones that are trying to attack him. It's domestic, not foreign. He said, I know the Pentagon, the Pendleton, Oregon police are still going to Portland primarily over the weekends. Any of these scenarios are bad, and I pray that nothing happens. My belief is if something does happen, hunker down. Of course. Of course. You know, this is why for years, okay, ever since 46 got in, I have been trying to drill into everyone's head. You really should, you know, amp up your home security, amp up your preps, whether it be food, water, supplies, you know, your arms and whatnot, because there's going to come a day or you're going to have to hunker down. Okay? So he says getting caught up in it doesn't do anyone any good. No, of course not. Why would you want to put yourself in a situation where you are going to be surrounded by literal idiotic zombies? Okay? To where you cannot at all, within any way, reason logically with them, because they will never see or even hear rational thought. But then again, they see how we think and feel and everything as irrational. But then again, they think that a woman having a certain procedure as their only right, when they didn't lose that right at all, that it was left up to the states. Okay? But they think that they should be able to have this procedure at any moment in time, even after or after a certain point during a certain trimester. I'll just say that. They don't like to take things into consideration. They just say, it's just so hard because I have these people in my family, and it's like, shh, go, okay? Because I can't even have educated conversations, in-depth conversations with these people, because and these are people that actually have educations. They can't see eye to eye at all. At all. They do not see you as on their level. We are not on the same playing field. You know, I mean, they literally see us as filth. And it's like, wait a second. Because we don't want to vote for somebody that we do not agree with. Make that make sense. Okay? So he goes on to say, the one thing I always do, excuse me, my eye itches, is step back and analyze before I do anything in life. Exactly. I'm that person. I see the whole picture, not just pieces. Okay? I won't speak on anything unless I see the entire picture for what it is exactly and what it's worth. I'm not just going to say, oh, well, here's a piece. Well, here's a piece. Well, here's a piece. And even if they don't all fit together, if it doesn't make a full picture, okay, I have to make it make sense first before I will even speak on it. He says emotions create problems. Stepping back and analyzing is the best route for good plans and solutions. I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. He said, hugs to you and everyone. Be prepared so you are not involved in any rush to the store. If something does happen, standard issue on a military level is power down and loss of communication. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, I agree with you. I have to see the entire picture before I make any kind of decision, you know. Because you know how they say there's, you know, one side, this side, and then there's the truth. You know, I have to see everything at all angle, you know, left, right, top, bottom, you know, all angle, every single angle. I don't want to miss a piece, because there's going to be that one little missing piece, and that one little missing piece that you don't see is going to blow everything wide open. And that's what makes you look like a jackass when you're speaking on something and you're like, well, where is that one little missing piece? You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you 110%. Okay. So, all right, on to the videos. All right.
Y'all, I am living for Donald Trump's lineup that he's coming up with. Woo! I'm changing it from Make America Great Again to Make America Have a Backbone Again. You got Susie, you got Christy, you have Tom, you have Pete, you have Vivek, you have Elon. The list goes on and on and on. And the one thing they all have in common, they all have experience. And they're not all career politicians. They're not bought and paid for like the rest of them. And on top of them having experience, they freaking have backbones. They have that American pride. They want to see this country be the country that it used to be. This country has been ran so long on spineless, bought and paid for puppets. And it's about dang time that we, the American people, step up and get this country back on the right track. Back to being the great United States that it is.
We plan to execute between 70 and 80,000. We plan to evacuate between 70 and 80,000 people.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having a, like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome.
Thank you
Back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. And a transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
We are about to experience an economic explosion. Donald Trump, just by walking into the room, everyone starts thinking money's going to fall from the sky. He's done this his entire career. And the people who don't like him, because they like to point to, oh, this casino went bankrupt or this happened or whatever. You got a guy who is worth approximately $6 to $7 billion. He has made an immense amount of money for a lot of people over time. But why is it that when he becomes the president, stocks rip? It's because people realize if this guy's in control, if this guy's in power, if this guy's leading the American economy, things are going to go up in terms of asset prices. Doesn't necessarily mean things get better, because if asset prices are going up and the dollar's being devalued, people without investments, they're actually not getting better, right? Because they're suffering at the hands of that devaluation. When Donald Trump comes into power, people say, if you hold investments, things are going to get good. And that is before he ever implemented anything. It's kind of like your reputation precedes you. Investors right now are trading on Donald Trump's reputation. And they're saying, this guy's sending the stock market higher.